The landscape of leadership is vast, stretching from Asia to Africa. Leadership shapes destinies and influences history. Decisions by leaders impact lives profoundly. Presidents, CEOs, and community leaders navigate crises and uplift people. Leadership's allure fuels countless books and seminars, yet leadership relies on the support and engagement of others. Leadership is a dynamic interplay between leaders and followers. Followership holds a profound power capable of transforming society. Followership has long been seen as secondary to leadership. This perception is limiting and inaccurate. Followers shape leaders' actions and decisions. Like musicians in an orchestra, followers bring visions to life. In social and political realms, followers are active participants. Their engagement and accountability form leadership's foundation. Conscious followership transforms leadership by recognizing followers' power. This paradigm shift embraces followers' agency and responsibility. Conscious followership emphasizes active participation and critical thinking. It requires both leaders and followers to work towards a common good. Followers must engage actively and hold leaders accountable. Conscious followers challenge the status quo and push leaders to be better. They are committed to collective good and collaborative efforts. This new paradigm can transform leadership and society profoundly. Conscious followership challenges passive views of following. It involves active engagement in shaping organizations and societies. Followers have rights and responsibilities in their choices. They are critical thinkers who challenge assumptions and express dissent. Progress requires open dialogue and respectful debate. Conscious followers value leadership and collaboration towards shared goals. True collaboration requires mutual respect and open communication. Conscious followership requires courage to speak up and challenge. It involves a strong sense of responsibility and engagement. Conscious followers understand their actions have consequences. They are committed to personal growth and lifelong learning. They seek to expand knowledge and refine skills. Driven by a deep sense of purpose, they aim to make a positive difference. They believe in collective action and collaboration. This sense of purpose fuels their resilience in facing challenges. Conscious followership changes leader-follower dynamics. Leaders may feel challenged by accountable followers. Over time, leaders see the value in constructive criticism. Conscious followers push leaders to be better and think critically. They offer feedback, solutions, and foster transparency. Disagreements can become growth opportunities with mutual respect. Open communication and shared vision are key to navigating conflicts. Becoming a conscious follower is a journey of self-discovery. It requires examining beliefs, biases, and assumptions. Personal accountability and learning from mistakes are essential. Self-reflection helps understand one's role in leadership dynamics. Seeking growth opportunities enhances followership skills. Learning about leadership and followership equips one to navigate complexities. Nepotism intertwines power with family bonds. It hinders progress and erodes public trust. In many cultures, kinship fosters nepotism. Prioritizing family over common good leads to biased decisions. Nepotism creates barriers to advancement for outsiders. It breeds resentment and distrust among the excluded. Unfair opportunities erode faith in institutions and civic engagement. Nepotism extends to broader patronage and cronyism. Tribal loyalty often supersedes national identity. Competence takes a back seat to ethnic affiliations. This undermines fairness and deprives nations of talent. Tribal loyalty fuels corruption and hinders development. Resources are diverted for personal gain, exacerbating inequalities. Lack of trust and social cohesion hinders growth and stability. Nepotism and tribalism breed corruption. Corruption erodes public trust and hinders development. It diverts resources from essential services. Corruption discourages foreign investment and undermines democracy. It creates a culture of impunity and normalized corruption. Rooting out corruption faces resistance and intimidation. Addressing corruption requires systemic change and accountability. A nation divided. Tribalism's toll on national unity. Tribalism, with its emphasis on loyalty to one's ethnic group or tribe over national identity, poses a significant threat to social cohesion and national unity when tribal affiliations take precedence over shared citizenship. It creates divisions within society, fuels mistrust and suspicion, and makes it difficult to address common challenges. In many African nations, the legacy of colonialism has exacerbated tribal tensions. Colonial powers often exploited existing divisions, playing one group against another to maintain control. This strategy of divide and rule left a lasting impact on many African societies, sowing the seeds of mistrust and conflict that continue to plague the continent today. The manipulation of tribal identities for political gain has become a common tactic in many African nations. Politicians often appeal to tribal sentiments to rally support, exacerbating existing divisions and creating a climate of fear and suspicion. This can lead to violence, displacement, and even civil war, as different groups compete for power and resources. The human cost of tribalism is immeasurable. It tears apart families, destroys communities, and undermines the very fabric of society. It creates a climate of fear and mistrust where individuals are wary of those outside their tribal group and where cooperation and collaboration become increasingly difficult. This not only hinders social progress, but also makes it challenging to address pressing issues such as poverty, disease, and climate change. Breaking the chains towards a more equitable future. The challenges posed by nepotism and tribalism are complex and deeply rooted, but they are not insurmountable. Overcoming these obstacles requires a multifaceted approach that addresses both the symptoms and the underlying causes of these destructive forces. One crucial step is to promote a culture of transparency and accountability. Governments must be held responsible for their actions, and citizens must have access to information that allows them to hold their leaders accountable. This includes ensuring that government contracts are awarded fairly, that public funds are used responsibly, and that those who engage in corruption are held to account. Education also plays a vital role in combating nepotism and tribalism. By teaching young people about the importance of tolerance, respect for diversity, and the principles of good governance, we can help to create a more inclusive and equitable society. Educational institutions should foster critical thinking, encourage open dialogue, and challenge students to think beyond narrow tribal or ethnic identities. Ultimately, breaking the chains of nepotism and tribalism requires a fundamental shift in mindset. It demands that we move beyond narrow self-interest and embrace a broader sense of shared responsibility for the well-being of our communities and our nations. It requires that we recognize the inherent dignity and worth of every individual, regardless of their tribe, ethnicity, or social standing. By working together, we can create a more just, equitable, and prosperous future for all. The power of the people, reframing the follower-leader dynamic. Leadership often overlooks the crucial role of followers. Traditional views imply passive acceptance of directives. Conscious followership challenges this, requiring active and engaged citizens. Leaders derive authority from the consent of those they lead. In democracies, this consent is shown through voting. Power to shape the future lies within each individual. Active participation transforms leadership dynamics. Empowered followers foster transparency and accountability. From bystanders to engaged citizens, tools for active followership. Transitioning to active, engaged citizens requires developing skills and knowledge, move beyond observing, and embrace community responsibility. Critical thinking is crucial. Discern fact from fiction, question assumptions, and evaluate information. Engage in critical analysis and understand motivations and biases. Effective communication is essential. Voice concerns, express dissent, and engage in respectful debate. Open communication builds trust and fosters understanding. Educate oneself about community and global issues. Stay informed, understand policy complexities, and engage with diverse perspectives. Informed citizens contribute meaningfully and hold leaders accountable. The courage to question, holding leaders accountable with integrity. Holding leaders accountable is about demanding transparency, integrity, and a commitment to serving the best interests of the people. True leadership thrives where questions are welcomed, dissenting opinions are valued, and those in power are held to the highest ethical standards. The courage to question requires challenging the status quo and speaking truth to power. True change rarely occurs without discomfort and individuals willing to stand up for what they believe in. Followers have a responsibility to hold leaders accountable for their decisions and actions. Through ongoing engagement and questioning, we create a culture where leaders are held responsible for their actions. Building a culture of accountability, a collective responsibility. Creating a culture of accountability is not the sole responsibility of those in positions of authority. It is a collective endeavor that requires the active participation of both leaders and followers. It demands a fundamental shift in mindset, from one of passive acceptance to one of active engagement, from a culture of silence to a culture of open dialogue and constructive criticism. Building this culture requires transparency from those in power. Leaders must be willing to share information openly, to explain their decision-making processes, and to be held accountable for the consequences of their actions. This transparency builds trust with followers, demonstrating a commitment to open governance and a willingness to be held responsible for the use of power. Followers, in turn, have a responsibility to engage in the process, to stay informed, to ask questions, and to hold their leaders accountable for their promises. This requires a willingness to move beyond apathy or cynicism and to embrace the power they possess to shape the direction of their communities and societies. Building a culture of accountability is an ongoing process, requiring constant vigilance, open communication, and a shared commitment to the common good. It is through this collective effort, this partnership between leaders and followers, that we can create societies where power is exercised responsibly, where transparency is the norm, and where the voices of all citizens are heard and valued. Beyond individual action lies the power of collective engagement. Its true potential is realized when individuals come together, pooling their resources, knowledge, and passion, transforming individual voices into a chorus of demands for accountability and the common good. History shows social movements igniting change through collective will. From civil rights to anti-apartheid, grassroots movements drive social justice. This power manifests in communities worldwide, addressing local issues. Neighbors, parents, and citizens organizing for better schools and accountability. The key is a shared belief that their voices matter and can make a difference. Grassroots movements and civic participation drive social and political change. Fueled by ordinary citizens, these movements respond to systemic injustices and unmet needs. Decentralized and flexible, they adapt to community needs. Civic participation is the lifeblood of grassroots movements. They mobilize people and foster a sense of shared responsibility. Amplifying voices, the role of technology and social media in the digital age has fundamentally altered the landscape of social and political activism. Technology, particularly social media, has emerged as a powerful tool for amplifying the voices of conscious followers, enabling them to connect with like-minded individuals, mobilize around shared concerns, and hold those in power accountable in ways that were unimaginable just a few decades ago. Social media platforms have become virtual town squares, providing a space for individuals to engage in public discourse, share information, and organize collective action. Hashtags have evolved into rallying cries, uniting people across geographical boundaries around shared causes. while online petitions have become a means of demonstrating widespread support for or opposition to specific policies or actions. While social media has undoubtedly empowered conscious followers, it is not without its drawbacks. The spread of misinformation, the formation of echo chambers, and the potential for online harassment and bullying are all legitimate concerns that must be navigated. However, the potential benefits of these technologies, particularly their ability to amplify marginalized voices and hold those in power accountable, cannot be ignored. Conscious followers must approach social media with a critical eye, verifying information before sharing it, engaging in respectful dialogue even with those who hold opposing viewpoints, and using these platforms to promote understanding, empathy, and a commitment to finding solutions that benefit the collective good. By harnessing the power of technology responsibly and ethically, conscious followers can help to create a more just, equitable, and informed world. Harnessing collective power for positive change. The collective power of conscious followership is a force for good. It creates a just, equitable, and sustainable world where all voices are heard and valued. Leadership is accountable to the people. Grounded in understanding, non-violence and dialogue, respectful engagement and common ground, collective action achieves lasting change. The allure and peril of tribal allegiance. The human instinct to seek belonging and identity within a group is deeply ingrained. Tribalism is a manifestation of this instinct, aligning with those who share similar characteristics. It fosters community and support, but also division and conflict. Tribalism undermines unity and cooperation, essential for national progress. When tribal affiliations take precedence over national identity, it breeds mistrust and animosity. The allure lies in its simplicity and sense of belonging, but it comes at the cost of critical thinking and independent judgment. Beyond the echo chamber, embracing diversity of thought. Breaking free from tribalism requires engaging with different perspectives. Embrace the richness and complexity diversity brings. It's the lifeblood of innovation and problem solving. Create spaces where individuals feel safe to express opinions. Foster a culture of respect and genuine understanding. National identity forging unity from fragmentation. National identity unifies, transcending ethnicity, religion, and politics. It fosters shared purpose, celebrating diversity and inclusivity. Education shapes identity, instilling pride and acknowledging history. Symbols and rituals like anthems and flags unite us. They remind us of our collective pride and shared identity. Towards a shared destiny, the transformative power of unity. The journey from a society fragmented by divisions to a nation united by a shared sense of purpose is challenging but rewarding. It requires confronting uncomfortable truths and building a future where all can thrive. Unity unlocks a nation's potential, unleashing creativity and collective effort for a just and prosperous future. When citizens feel heard and valued, they engage in civic life and work together to overcome obstacles. How conscious followership reshapes leadership. Traditional leadership often positions leaders as solitary figures, making decisions and bearing responsibility. Conscious followership challenges this. Asserting true leadership transformation occurs through active participation. It acts as a catalyst for change, pushing leaders to embrace integrity, accountability, and commitment to the common good. Informed and engaged followers create an environment of transparency and accountability. This shifts power dynamics, making leadership a responsibility entrusted by followers. Conscious followership becomes an invaluable asset, offering constructive criticism and innovative ideas. Reflecting back integrity and accountability. Imagine a mirror reflecting a leader's character, values, and impact. Conscious followership serves as this mirror, revealing strengths and weaknesses. Engaged followers hold leaders accountable, confronting biases and inconsistencies. This reflection is essential for growth and transformation. Conscious followership helps leaders address blind spots and align actions with values. It challenges leaders to be better and lead with integrity. Elevating expectations, inspiring leaders to rise to the occasion. Conscious followership, by its very nature, elevates the expectations placed upon leaders. When followers are engaged, informed, and actively participating in the leadership process, they are no longer content with mediocrity, complacency, or a lack of transparency. They demand more from their leaders, not out of a sense of entitlement, but out of a belief that true leadership requires a commitment to excellence, integrity, and a genuine desire to serve the greater good. This elevation of expectations can be a powerful motivator for leaders. When individuals know that they are being watched, that their actions are being scrutinized, and that they will be held accountable for their decisions, they are more likely to rise to the occasion, to put forth their best effort, and to make choices that reflect the values and aspirations of those they represent. This is not to suggest that conscious followership is about creating a culture of fear or intimidation. Rather, it is about fostering an environment where leaders are encouraged to bring their best selves to their roles, knowing that they have the support, the engagement, and the constructive criticism of those they lead. Moreover, when leaders witness the passion, the commitment, and the willingness of their followers to hold them accountable, it can inspire them to reciprocate, to view leadership not as a position of power but as a privilege, a responsibility to serve those who have placed their trust in them. A virtuous cycle. Cultivating a culture of shared responsibility. When conscious followership takes root, it creates a virtuous cycle, a dynamic interplay between leaders and followers that fosters a culture of shared responsibility, transparency, and a commitment to continuous improvement. In this virtuous cycle, leaders are inspired by the engagement and accountability of their followers, while followers are empowered by the integrity, transparency, and responsiveness of their leaders. This culture of shared responsibility stands in stark contrast to traditional hierarchical models of leadership, where power is often concentrated at the top and where followers are expected to comply with directives without question. In a culture of shared responsibility, both leaders and followers recognize that they have a stake in the success of the organization or society, and that their contributions, however small, are essential for achieving shared goals. This sense of shared responsibility fosters a greater sense of ownership and accountability at all levels. Individuals are more likely to take initiative, to speak up when they see something wrong, and to go the extra mile when they know that their efforts are valued and that they are working towards a common goal. Moreover, a culture of shared responsibility encourages open communication, collaboration, and a willingness to learn from mistakes. When individuals feel safe to express their opinions, to challenge assumptions, and to propose new ideas, it creates an environment where innovation can flourish and where organizations and societies can adapt and thrive in the face of changing circumstances. Conscious followership, a catalyst for global transformation. As we have explored throughout this documentary, the concept of conscious followership challenges traditional notions of power, authority, and the very nature of the leader-follower dynamic. It is a call to action, an invitation to move beyond passive acceptance and embrace our roles as active, engaged, and responsible citizens of our communities, our nations, and our world. The principles of conscious followership, while often discussed in the context of organizational leadership, have far-reaching implications for societal transformation. When citizens embrace their agency, when they demand transparency and accountability from those in positions of authority, when they hold themselves and their leaders to higher ethical standards, it creates a ripple effect, transforming not only individual lives, but also the very fabric of society. The challenges facing humanity in the 21st century are complex and interconnected, demanding innovative solutions and a global commitment to cooperation and collaboration. Climate change, economic inequality, social injustice, political polarization, and the erosion of trust in institutions are just a few of the pressing issues that require our attention and collective action. In the face of these challenges, conscious followership offers a path forward, a framework for engaging with leadership in a way that promotes accountability, transparency, and a commitment to the common good. It empowers individuals to become agents of change, to use their voices, their choices, and their actions to shape a more just, equitable, and sustainable world for all. The ripple effect, from individual empowerment to societal change. The journey begins with the individual examining beliefs, biases, and assumptions. It requires personal growth, challenging the status quo, and accountability. Embracing conscious followership creates a ripple effect, inspiring others. This wave can transform workplaces, communities, and nations. A call to action, embracing the power within. The journey towards a more conscious and engaged society is not a spectator sport. It requires each of us to step into our power as conscious followers, to recognize that we have a voice, a choice, and a responsibility to shape the world we want to live in. This is not a call to revolution or to the overthrow of authority. It is a call to engagement, to participation, to a recognition that true change occurs not through passive acceptance, but through active and informed participation in the systems and structures that shape our lives. Embrace the power of your voice. Speak up, ask questions, challenge assumptions, and hold your leaders accountable for their actions. Educate yourself about the issues that matter to you. Engage in respectful dialogue with those who hold different viewpoints, and use your vote wisely to elect leaders who reflect your values. The future belongs not to those who sit on the sidelines, but to those who step into the arena, who embrace their roles as conscious followers, and who work together to create a world that is more just, equitable, and sustainable for generations to come. The power to transform leadership and society lies within each of us. The choice is ours to make.